Next up, we have Sammy Mkaya with Prov DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. He's a member of Brown's Palestine Solidarity Caucus as well, and former COVID case investigator with Rhode Island Department of Health. He's been a field organizer and Muslim constituency organizer for the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020. Thank you very much for being here, Sammy. Come on up.
Hey all, my name is Sammy Mkaya. I want to start off by unequivocally condemning President Biden and the neoliberal establishment in their quest for war with Russia. I think it's important to say. After the fall of the Soviet Union, the U.S. told Russia we wouldn't expand NATO into the Baltic countries and Ukraine. We then broke that promise. We invited the Baltic countries in and even offered NATO membership to Ukraine. Decades later, we're now being told that Russia is going to invade Ukraine and we should be ready for confrontation. But what does that mean? Are we going to go to war with a nuclear armed nation? Do we want World War III? Why are our leaders considering that this war when we're still struggling with the global pandemic, when the families of Rhode Island are struggling just to pay their bills and put food on the table? What Russia wants is a guarantee that we won't expand NATO eastward, which we've promised them before, more than we already have. That's it. Is this to say that Russian President Vladimir Putin is a good guy? No, not at all. But we, the U.S., are the ones beating the drums of war when the rest of the world is trying to de-escalate the situation. The CIA is training Ukrainian paramilitaries right now here in the U.S. to go back to Ukraine and fight, not to mention the literal tons of weapons we're sending into Ukraine every single day. Biden just ordered 3,000 troops to go to be deployed to Eastern Europe and another 8,500 to be put on high alert. These are huge acts of aggression, and imagine if Moscow put 10,000 troops on our border, what the reaction would be. For proof, just look at the fact that Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell want to send $500 million to Ukraine in weapons just in 2022. Where's the age-old question of how will we pay for it? That only ever seems to come up when we all propose some transformative legislation that actually helps people. Why don't we read this quote from the Secretary Danilov of Ukraine's National Security Council. This was made in late January, where he's quoted as saying he doesn't, quote, expect an imminent invasion and doesn't share the panic, which he connects to geopolitical and domestic processes in the West. Danilov also said the buildup of Russian troops at the Ukrainian border isn't as rapid as some claim. And if you think this is a one-off, the Ukrainian president disagreed with Biden about the immediacy of a Russian attack on Ukraine. He called the U.S.'s decision to order departures from the embassy in Kiev a mistake, and has even been quoted as saying, "I'm the president of Ukraine, I'm based here, and I think I know the details deeper than any other president." What really is happening here is that the military-industrial complex is really excited to cash in on the war with Russia. And we've seen the CEO of Raytheon, the weapons maker, even going so far as to gloat about how, quote, those things are going to put pressure on some of the defense spending over there. So I fully expect we're going to see some benefit. To these war hawks, benefit means profit. Because war is a racket, as was previously said. Rhode Island knows the war machine all too well, and the Textron global headquarters is right here in downtown Providence, and it's the company that makes Apache helicopters and infamous for having made cluster bombs. It's going to profit from this war too. So instead of going to war with Russia and policing Europe's borders, we need to talk about what Rhode Islanders need. We need health care. Our system is broken. We need a single-payer Medicare for all system. We have a broken education system. Instead of letting it flounder and decay, we need safe, expanded public schools. And we have a government that is content to let teachers get burnt out and buildings crumble. So instead of having a homes guarantee and public housing authority, instead we have a commoditized housing market that preys on the most vulnerable people in our communities. So yeah, call your senators, call your representatives, demand they stop caring about their Raytheon and Textron buddies more than the future of their communities, but most importantly, join a collective organization, in my opinion, an anti-capitalist one, and let's build power in our communities so that U.S. militarism and imperialism is not some far-off thing that we have no power over, but something that we fight here in Rhode Island and set the trend for the U.S. writ large. Thank you very much.